Hey y'all, I'm AdaKay, and I must confess, I'm a trial junkie. I enjoy viewing trials as if I was the seated juror. So grab a cup of java, get comfy, and join me as we hop into court. And don't forget to comment, like, and most importantly, subscribe. And if you're really enjoying the channel, please join our membership. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope this finds you well. We are back for the afternoon session of Court Jumpin'. Hi, 80s Music Man. Hello, Rachel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ooh, I need something to drink. I don't know. This music can get me in a good mood. Welcome, welcome, everybody. I hope everybody had a great lunch. I sure did. I actually went and had lunch for the first time in a while. I had about 5 tablespoons of tomato basil soup and about 2 or 3 bites of baked potato. And I feel like my food is up to here. Oh, so anyway, we are going to go court jumping. And the next court we're going to go to is let me get it up. Of course, I need to reset the default for this. It always takes me to the one I don't like. And the one I want is right here. Wunderbar. All right. So this here is our fabulous Judge David Fletcher. We all love and adore him. He's awesome. Really appreciate his courtroom. I enjoy watching his trials. He's an interesting little fella. I enjoy his I want to do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Done. Okay, do it again. So I really love his insights, and I love him as a judge, and the way he dresses is just cute as a bug. So out and about with Dianne, welcome very much. Thank you for coming in and saying hi. Hi, TK again. Woo-hoo. Hello. All my people out there. I am doing something real quick. All right, wonderful. Yay. I rushed. I ate fast, and now I think I've got a little bit of a heartburn. Whew. All right, so today we saw some Judge Boyd. Oh my gosh, was she sassy today. It was fun. So now we're going to hop in over here, and then I'm going to be looking for any breaking news or anything else we need to look at while we're live today. But let's go ahead and get started with him. This was, of course, this morning's feed. He is fabulous. I'm going to zoom through all of the...
Let me make sure I'm thinking about the right person.
There we go.
So
I know, lawyer
in the new
B.
case, I can file a MOAP, but in our system, the complainant is listed as, let me make sure I'm thinking about the right person, but I do remember that I can't change the name of the complainant, but it's not the complainant that.
Can you just file a new one?
Right, that's what happens when I try to file a new one. So what I can do is the complainant will be listed as the one listed in our system, but I can write in like a victim's name.
Okay.
I can do that.
Yep.
That's kind of, yeah, I can't change the complainant's name now.
Got it.
Y'all, we got to watch this real quick. I got to watch this real quick. OMG.
We're speaking with Judge Blackburn briefly about the potential for resolution of this case.
Oh, do you see the heading of this? Woman accused of killing terminally ill husband smiles while leaving court. The hearing was held for Ellen Gillian, a 76-year-old who lead shooted her terminally ill husband to death in January 23. During their hearing of the state filed a motion to exclude certain evidence from the trial, along with other motions regarding the future of this case. At the end of the hearing, she was seen smiling as she walked out of the courtroom. You guys, we're going to follow this one. Not this minute. I'm going to put this to the side for me to watch later, unless y'all want to watch it later. But I just wanted y'all to see that real quick. OMG. Granny was smiling while leaving that courtroom. Go, Granny, go. Go, Granny, go, go. I got to put my thing back on. It is so hot in here. Ooh, having a hot flash. Hello, Celestial. That was weird. Okay, let's zoom.
Okay.
Since the last.
It's been a while. Okay. All right.
She uploaded a ton of.
You're just now getting more discovery.
She uploaded a lot. Last 7 years.
Okay.
June. And we were kind of going along with some minimal discovery, and then she got after it like before Thanksgiving and dumped a bunch of stuff on. I've gone through as much of it. She's out today. I was hoping to catch up with her. I think she knows the case pretty well, based on our discussions last Saturday.
Why is he allowing so much talking in his
You can set up a
courtroom?
trial if you need to, but I think
I think you
Why?
see if you can do something first before we do that. Can we set it for next week, early next week, so you can talk to her? Because it's already 2:25.
And Judge, just to inform you, Bridget will be here on Thursday and Friday of next week. She won't be here Monday. So
Of next week.
next week, yeah.
She gone today and
She'll
tomorrow?
be back tomorrow.
She's back tomorrow? Are you here tomorrow in the building?
not in the book.
Okay.
I think Asher's got like
I'm gonna do,
Asher's got a 10 o'clock service where he's getting an award or something. So I'm
Nice.
out.
you want to do next Thursday?
Probably didn't.
Oh, stop it. He's a great kid.
We're
Okay, we'll wait the appearance. Just
Christmas is a Wednesday, so.
Wednesday,
here
every day, every day, every day.
like it.
Jails don't stop.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, we'll just, and then hopefully, just if you can shoot her an email, say, hey, look, who's here. Okay. Okay, is discovery complete?
Yes, Judge.
On her end, she's saying this, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Judge.
Bye.
Y'all. Linguini or whatever, Maggioni, the guy arrived in New York and that faced the federal charges for the CEO unaliving, had over 25 FBI agents around him getting onto a helicopter. What? I'm like, this is too much, y'all. Even old people commit crimes.
You need me?
It's off docket.
Yeah.
Talk over there?
Ooh, excuse me. Okay, he's gone. What's happening?
And my client's ability to provide for himself. You can put a government device on the feed, which is
It's yours, yeah.
obviously interlock.
With my bike and the bicyclist.
No, we're waiting on.
Yeah, we're still waiting.
His courtroom is confusing to me,
I
y'all.
don't, am I right in seeing that there's no conditions on the felony?
I know you can't, right? This is a very confusing courtroom to me right now.
Just saying. A lot of noise, a lot
Can
of
you refresh
hubbub.
my memory on the FSRA, please?
Yeah, there's no blockages on the felony. I haven't seen any notes, just the root cause.
Sorry. Gotten heartburn. I guess the tomato basil grabbed me a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it me? Is it a little bit noisy?
Until I try to see the very
Could just be
first.
me.
So just on May, my client would be willing to put the onus on himself to comply with any testing while on the road. He's pretty adept at finding, Googling and finding a place where he can go submit a urine sample if it's necessary. And he's willing to shoulder as much of the burden as possible to be able to provide himself.
Put in the bird.
Okay, I'm sorry, what are you asking for? I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Okay.
You want the interlock taken off?
No,
You want to
No,
remember?
we're having- we're having-
Oh,
Just permission to
okay.
drive?
Have-
Okay.
We've got an
Right.
event in a motor vehicle and we have
And an
a failure to
FSRA.
stop. So we have extremely serious cases. I don't remember, but I guess he's telling me I took the ability to drive away. What
Right.
happened in the FSRA?
In the FSRA, he did strike a bicyclist who ended up having to go to Memorial Hermann, and we're still waiting on medical records for that. But she was injured enough where she had to be taken to the hospital
Right.
due to being struck by the defendant.
I believe at least in the OR, they said she's sustained a broken leg at the very least.
Your
Oh,
guys'
at the very
position.
least.
We'll be fine with the, what it was before, no ability to drive considering the seriousness
Hello,
He
hello,
wants to
everybody.
of the job. Is he?
Truck driver.
Okay.
Because we could put some curfew.
We
hours,
have a
you can
truck
only drive
driver
at
who
8,
hit somebody
7
on, I
a.m.,
guess, a
5
bicycle.
p.m., Something like that. Put an interlock on there, you put a govern on that.
His first job would be amenable to the curfew and I want that's fine.
Okay. How long has he been on board?
But you wanted to restrict him from driving for personal endeavors and pursuits, and he'd be willing to do that. He
Sorry.
just wants to be able to work.
Okay. But he needs an interlock on the work vehicle now.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, but yeah, I don't want him driving in the middle of the night. So he'll have a curfew of 9 p.m. to,
That's still
6
night.
a.m. or 5 a.m., whatever he would prefer.
Yes, sir.
I do
No
5 to
alcohol,
6,
no
5
drugs,
p.m. to 6.
testing and, yeah, okay,
Thank you.
okay. Hi, good morning.
I have Michael Carvalho on docket.
Okay,
On this one here, we are still waiting on a station video, but even still, we went ahead and did a mitigation packet. We're still waiting on it. We've sent it multiple times.
I don't know what to tell you. This case is 193 days old. So I want you to subpoena the officer right now.
Yes, Judge, well,
1 week, officer must be in court with video in hand. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a contempt hearing. It's 193 days old. It's
Woo!
unacceptable. We don't have a video.
yes, Judge, we'll subpoena him right away.
Yes, Sanchez?
So today's Thursday. We'll set it for next Thursday for a show cause on the officer as to why they haven't provided the video.
There it goes.
I guess we can just go from there.
Can get
And
it to
then,
play.
is your client here now?
He is here today.
Do you want to do a TRAS today or no? Do you want to wait?
Can we?
Oh, okay. So let's set it for a show cause next week. And then we'll come back and we'll see what happens then.
Can my clients attend to me?
Yes, absolutely.
Y'all, Amy Grant and Vince Gill are just too cute. Just
You need to
saying.
waive the signature?
He's here, actually, Judge. Just our pretrial officer brought up a good point with regard to testing while on the road.
He'll have to go to a Quest diagnostic. Okay.
You want specifically a question.
Yeah.
Specifically Quest because it ASCLD certified and we know that you're not going to Punka City testing to buy a result.
On the conditions for that is West Side.
I've only watched him once before.
Which is what you're referring to. And so, I'm just, is it okay if I just put a sanctuary certified?
No, Quest diagnostic. Mhm.
Thank you, Judge.
Sure, they're all over.
Yo, he don't play.
I approached
Good morning,
Judge.
Mr. Stone. How are you?
Good, how are you doing, Judge?
Oh, you hanging out?
I
What do you
got
got?
in here the other day with a guy, first time dealer guy, and he got it in his friend's car. And you said, well, don't drive unless you got insurance. Obviously, insurance covers the car, but I understand where you're coming from. So anyhow, the guy added.
Y'all, we got something to show you. Y'all, we got something to show you. Yeah, this is interesting. We'll get back. Don't worry. We're
There
just
was a big
jumping.
scene outside the Uvalde courthouse when the parents of one of the school shooting victims were kicked out of the courtroom.
Yeah, so Brett Cross was the guardian for Uzziah Garcia.
This
He and
is
his
43
wife were
minutes
attending a
ago.
pretrial hearing for former UCISD Police Chief Pete Arredondo and Police Officer Adrian Gonzalez when this happened.
Now she's going to get taken.
Why that we got kicked out? Can any one of y'all tell me?
No. I said, how do you like that?
Who were kicked out is still unclear, although Cross believed it was because he and his wife had cussed in the courtroom. Both Arredondo and Gonzalez pled not guilty in July to criminal child endangerment and abandonment charges relating to the Robb Elementary shooting. Today, Arredondo's lawyers tried to quash the indictment against him. And a judge
Oh, he
denied
coming
the
back from
motion.
Mo.
Trial date has tentatively been set for October 20th of next year. His defense team will now be asking for a change of venue.
They'll be asking for a not guilty and acquittal. And then they have to live in the community where this tragedy happened. Everybody knows everybody here. And so we just don't believe that there can be a fair trial.
Wow, y'all, that was a little bit. Shoo.
On his policy. So we've got a policy.
Yeah,
Okay,
it doesn't help
so-
anything, Jedi.
You know, you told him don't
At all.
drive until you get insurance.
In his name. Right. And you're telling me he has insurance now?
Yeah, he's got, it's the guy who owns the car. It's his policy, but we're on it as a driver.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah. So that
So I mean-
if he gets into an accident, the other people are covered.
I just noticed this starts January 25th, 25.
And that's when he can drive.
But he's got another one that starts now. So I'm gonna give her this one and ask her if I can email the other one to her.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Yep,
Judge.
of course.
We got another one, y'all.
This is a lifetime.
Okay, I don't know if y'all know this case or not. I
This
don't.
is a lifetime experience. Never, and I hope never will happen to me or to anybody else. I come from a good family, and the way I see now, met the family, I'm sure he comes from a good family. But sometimes things happen where people go off the road. The deceased, I look at his pictures when he was much younger, good looking kid, could be an engineer, could be a doctor. But he went off the road for a while. I'm a hardworking man, busy. No disrespect, I wish he never came in. I wish I was never put under the
Really?
that he's
Where
really
is
killing
this?
I wish he
Hagen, Roland, where is this?
just listen to me, put the bag, open the bag.
Wow. Interesting,
It
love.
just happened. That's our destination. I have family who will be mourning and crying. I know his family are mourning and crying. It's Christmas time. Hail by your God, oh my God. I come from Palestine, where every prophet was born. The Holy Land.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
I know what love and respect is. I know what religions are. I know all about Bible and Torah and Quran. But a human is a human. A human is lost. He's the age of my son.
Here we go.
The most important thing, Your Honor, that It's not a matter of holding grudges. I don't hold the grudges, and they shouldn't. Because they're gonna live in pain for the rest of their life if they keep holding grudges. Things happen. I'm not gonna sit here and try to look good by making them look bad or their son look bad. That's not how a real man does.
And he legally could
I
do
wish
so?
we lived in better circumstances. I have a daughter, 8-year-old now. She's gonna go home, and I raised her since she was 2.5. She's gonna go home, and I'm not there.
Hi, baby.
I work so hard, not because of the dollar or over a Gatorade, like some people want to show me. No. I work so hard because I have responsibility, because I love my work. I love my community. As I told in my testimony, when certain jobs, when you're behind your counter, you're the barber shop in the corner, you're the man at the store at the corner, it becomes big family. And I have thousands, a huge family, from all races, all colors, all religions.
Come here,
I
baby.
am the man from Palestine, but I feed Christians every single day. And my landlord, the old man who came here, he's a Jew. Yes, sir. I really wish peace to his family, to their hearts. Because their son is with God now.
And you sent him there and you're
believe
okay with
his
that?
Their son needs prayers.
Send it down. Down.
It's not about what happened. I'm not going to hold the grudges against them. My family, I have a father, he's 87 years old, and mom, she's 83. They're sad.
Mine's 84 and 90.
But life goes on.
83 and 90. We'll be
So
84
if
and
I
90.
keep getting mad and my family gets mad and my friends get mad and friends get mad, that's not as humans what God wants from each one of us, regardless of your religion. Things happen, mistakes happen from both parties. A husband and a wife love each other to death, still get separated because of misunderstanding. Things happen. And I'm sorry it happened from the bottom of my heart. And I wish his family peace as much as I wish my family peace, because they're going to be in pain.
Yeah.
Especially my 8-year-old baby girl. And I am not a monster. I was never been, and I will never be.
What's a bad idea, Jedi Jess?
It's an aggression I was put under. At that moment, I felt it was
Him
a
having a
violence
lead shooter on his hip?
that I had to defend myself. And I tried. I raised my hand. I tried to back away.
Sentencing tomorrow
I tried to back
morning.
away.
8 Central. We'll be
But
here.
it didn't work. God bless him. He kept coming back at me. I made mistakes. He made mistakes. What we end up with? Everybody is sad. Everybody is mad. Everybody is in pain. So,
yep,
my love
we'll be doing
respect
that.
his family. I really wish it from the bottom of my heart, if they can, I'm sure they're sad. I wish them the best with the holidays. And I give him a word of honor. If that kid came to me and said, Uncle Tez, everybody calls me Uncle Tez. Uncle Tez, I'm hungry. I give him a word of honor. I'll definitely, gladly help him out. And I do this on a daily basis for almost 4 decades.
Discord.
Because where I come from, God will bless you back. The karma comes back. Thank you, Honor.
Do you know what, Rachel? We could watch this trial starting tomorrow if you wish. Let's see if I can get that stuff. Let me see if I can load up and get it all done. And then if you guys want to watch that trial, we'll rewatch it tomorrow. Definitely would do that.
He was ordered. I won't say it because if we're going to cover it.
Welcome back. We've been watching the sentencing here.
Oh, sorry. I should have done this. My bad. My apologies, y'all.
I think that's
Come on, let's get to some good stuff.
Colin.
Good morning.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Ready for the break?
Dude.
I have Sarah Castillo on your docket this morning.
Okay.
I subbed in on this one, so it's got some loss on it, but I haven't been on it very long.
Okay.
There's a long disclosure. The personnel file, that includes the G file from the open records.
Okay.
Working on getting that for me. I think once I have that.
How long is that going to take you to get?
I honestly don't know, Judge. I requested all the disclosure documents from our database. She provided me with what, they normally provide, and I'm not even certain of how to get the personnel file, so I have to speak to my chief about it. So I actually don't know.
I think that's something that you may need to.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got it, out actually already on it, and
Did you put a date certain in it, not
The
just
sheriff's office.
standard? Because you got to put a date on it.
Yeah, and I usually put the next court date, so it should be this court date. I'll have to go back and double check, Judge. I didn't take a look at that.
Let me know because I don't. If you have a date on it and they're not replying, then we need to take it further.
True.
Right. Because then the onus becomes on them, and we need to take further steps. I don't want to just because, we're at 208 days now, so it's, I got it, and I want you to, but if you're sending out subpoenas and it's not being responded to, then we have an issue. So do you want to get with the chief and see where we go? And then let me know. I don't want to just start resetting it just to reset it unless we know something certain. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll double check on my subpoenas and then get it to you.
Thanks. Okay, Jim.
Okay.
I'm here, Mr. Lewis, Your Honor.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
You want to come up? You can find it out.
Okay, guys. Jedi Jess, Rachel, and all of y'all, please chime in. I've got first day of trial. Do y'all want to start watching this and then we can zoom through it and watch this, and we'll pick it up tomorrow after we have the hearing in the morning for sentencing? Do y'all want to do that? Let me know. I'll be glad to start that trial. It doesn't seem like a very long trial. And then tomorrow we have the Delphi sentencing, so we can continue this after the Delphi sentencing. Okay, so what we can do is put this, I'm going to leave. We got opening arguments because I don't really know anything about this case, so we're going to watch this. I'm going to zoom it a little bit. Oh, we've seen this lawyer before, haven't we? That's like at 1.25. Okay, I got it queued. Okay, here we go.
Leads the defendant to pull a knife.
No, but I'll be ready to have whatever newscast. We'll be ready for it
though.
though.
Bag in one hand and some ice cream in the other. He approaches him with a knife at his side, grabs the bag. Mr. Garrity's pushed back.
Hello,
onto the
Karate
cooler,
Cat Mom. I've missed
where
you.
the defendant stands over
Thanks
him
for
with a
joining
knife
again,
and
Zach.
threatens him. That movement then leads back to the corner of the store, where it continues. There are other people in the store. There's a
I'll be
toddler in the
right
store,
back.
walking around while his dad's in the store, or someone's in the store with the child looking for a cell phone. They're trying to buy things. There's a group of young ladies that the defendant walks straight through, get out of the way, knife by his side, goes straight to Mark Garrity. Before Mark Garrity's even made it to the register, made it to the door, he's approached with a knife. While there's a surveillance video in the store that captures most of what happens in the store, that surveillance video you're going to find out doesn't have any sound. There's a third person who's kind of involved in this altercation to a little bit, and that's one of the defendant's employees, Nathan. Nathan goes over, I believe you'll find, to kind of, hey guys, let's separate what's going on here. Just, if you took something, give it back. It's not like, let's sort it out. At this time, there's the struggle going on between the defendant and Mr. Garrity over this bag. All the while, the defendant has the knife in his hand. And I believe when you watch this video, you'll see the defendant's not just holding the knife by his side the whole time. He's directing at certain points where to go at knife point. It's in the back corner of the store. And while I said that surveillance video doesn't have any sound, well, it's 2024, so we kind of know what does happen, right? If there's something exciting going on, somebody, and we just spent about 5-10 minutes talking about these things, is going to be standing there with a cell phone. And what's happening is there's a young lady in
What
that store,
case was he
she's filming
on?
the whole thing once it goes on. She's one of those young ladies that was standing right at the register that the defendant walks by when he has that knife out. And she'll narrate the event to you on the video, and you'll hear it. You know, it's not always the nicest things that she's saying. There may be some colorful language in it, but I mean, remember what's going on in front of her at this point in time.
Where do we know
had
him
she been
from?
perfectly quiet, you might be able to hear a little bit more, but luckily you are able to hear some of what's being said between the defendant and the victim in this case. And what you'll hear is the defendant saying, I didn't steal anything, man. I didn't take it. You got to let go of the bag. You got to let go of the bag. I don't have to do shit. That's what the defendant says at knife point. After a couple of minutes of being detained in this store at knife point, and mind you, all the while, nobody on the defendant's behalf has called 911 yet. Nobody has contacted the police about this potential larceny. And remember what it's a larceny of. Like a 20-ounce blue Gatorade. I say larceny, but it's not even really a larceny yet. It's a concealment. It's a shoplifting. And the only real evidence that we have that it was a larceny or shoplifting is that, you know, they see him on video in the back by the Gatorades, and there's a blue Gatorade in the bag. So I'm not going to deny, and I'm not going to stand here and insult your intelligence and say, we don't believe that he was stealing, trying to take something that didn't belong to him. Okay? I think the evidence is going to show that. But the evidence is also going to show that while he's been detained there for several moments, several minutes, at knife point, in a corner, with two men surrounding him, one of which arguably trying to calm everything down, he says, essentially, I've had enough. I'm getting out of here. You're not going to hold me here at knife point anymore and not call the police and have everybody handle this in an appropriate and reasonable way. I'm leaving. And at that point, at knife point and with racks beside him, he attempts to get free, to get away from this location.
Burn your
The defendant
fingers.
does not let him go. Again, at knife point, threatening him with a knife.
It is.
The victim, you can be heard at one point on that cell phone video.
Is it?
Stab me then. Stab me. Stab me. You're going to go to jail if you stab me.
Is it? Is he the one of Murdaugh's? Is he one of Murdaugh's? No, but he looks like it. I've seen him somewhere before, though. I really have. Talks is slow.
He fights his way, tries to fight his way out, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I'm being
He tries to
silly.
get out of there, and it gets physical. And at that point,
Wow.
the defendant takes that knife, and it's clear at this point that he stabs him several times. He stabbed, the doctor's going to tell you, 3 times at multiple depths inside of this person. 2.5 inches, 3.5 inches, 4.5 inches. One of those straight to the heart, through the cavity into his heart, puncturing his heart. The victim falls down. You'll see he gets up, makes his way out the front door. All the while, that cell phone camera is in tow. They're watching it, narrating. There are other people around, and you'll see it. And this is the video that we've been telling you about, right? He goes out into the street alone without that bag.
Where are my?
collapses
Thank you.
in the street,
No, what
downtown
happened?
Raleigh in broad daylight, and bleeds out right there. Now,
Yeah.
the defendant never goes outside.
No, I know.
Never
but
walks out there to check on him as he's dying.
He
in the
looks
streets.
similar.
Is he okay? Everybody, let's get some pressure on that wound. Everybody take care of him. No. While Mark dies, what does the defendant do? You'll see that the defendant mops.
They could be related.
While Mark dies, the defendant mops. He goes straight back into the back and wheels out that little yellow bucket of water, starts mopping the floor. Get back to business as usual. Okay? Business as usual. Gotta get back to selling things. Clean it up. So you're going to hear that this happens. You're going to hear the video. You're going to hear the people in that video and what they are seeing, their present sense impression, the things that they are observing. at that
No,
scene,
but it
their
kind of
emotions,
looks like
what
him.
they saw happen, what their reactions, what they're seeing happen
Just
is.
thought it was funny.
And at some point, yes, you will hear what the defendant has to say about this. And as we told you, he tells the police that he thinks it was self-defense, and he gives an interview to the police. Okay? And I'm not going to recount every fact of what the defendant is going to relay to you in that statement. But I will ask that you listen very closely, okay? Listen to the details that matter in that story that he gives you. And what I want you to do, as we talk about in jury selection, is to receive that evidence and apply it to the law, right? Well, I want you to receive that information. that
yes,
gives you,
he does.
and apply that to
Little
the undeniable things that are on that video. See if they add up. That's what the evidence is going to be in this case. Now, 99% of the evidence that you're going to hear about in this case, I'll be honest with you, and I think that Mr. Newton's going to stand up here and tell you, we agree on, okay? What it's going to boil down to are those two issues, really, right? It's kind of, is there malice here, and is this self-defense? And so the judge is going to give you the law about that. But the fact that the defendant is the one that took a knife and stabbed the victim, Mr. Garrity, and that stab wound is what killed him, not in dispute for you. This isn't a whodunit. This isn't that type of case. What this is it's what is it? And so if you keep an open mind, as you've all sworn to do, and listen to the evidence here, at the end of it, I'm going to stand up here, Mr. Newton's going to stand here, and we're going to talk to you about what we think it all means. Okay, we're going to try and explain why our position is the position that you should believe in, that it's beyond a reasonable doubt that I've carried my burden to you. And when we get to that point, what I'm going to stand here and tell you is that this was not self-defense.
My face looks so much thinner.
And that the defendant is guilty of second-degree murder. So I want you to listen closely to what he says, pay close attention to the video. And I would also ask you to pay close attention to what the other witnesses who are present don't say they heard, and the things that are not found at that scene. Because one thing that the evidence is going to show you is that Mark Garrity never had a weapon. Mark Garrity had ice cream, and Mark Garrity had a Gatorade. He never had a gun.
Yep.
Never had a knife.
This is true. I didn't smoke, but I always had a lighter for my eyeliner. And that what we, you know how many times I burnt my eye?
Thank you. I know it's been a long time getting to this point, but now that we're here, you actually get to do the work, and we appreciate it. And again, at the end of this,
What we used to do, y'all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dianne. Will there be an opening statement?
There will be, Your Honor. Can I have the electron, please?
Mr. Rizzo, Mr. Newton. Thank you, Sheriff.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. There are 34, on or about April the 6th of last year, there were 334,503,780 people in the U.S.
Yeah.
82,295 of them in Iraq. And all those people were born around.
Oh God, he's going to be one of those.
And you're here today because by whatever chance, two of those people.
Somebody
ended
up the
having their
volume in the
lives
courtroom.
intersect. And as a result of that intersection, their lives were changed forever. And there's not one thing that either you or me or anybody else can do about that. So your job is going to be to come in and figure out, under the law, what happened and what ought to be done about it. You're all good citizens, randomly brought in here. You don't know anything about the case, don't know anything about the people, but now you're about to learn. You're going to learn basically three things. You're going to learn about before, you're going to learn about during, and you're going to learn about after the event.
Hold on, I got a call.
One of the things that you're going to learn about this man is something about his background, his history, and what he does. And you will hear from him that he was born in Gaza in Palestine, to the extent that that country actually exists. He was born in 1963 and lived there until he was about 3 years old, and his parents took him to Kuwait, where there was more opportunity to do that. He lived in Kuwait until 1980, and then he moved to the United States of America. Pursue that dream that so many people around the world want. Come to this country where there's freedom, where there's opportunity, and where those people who are willing to work hard and do right can succeed and thrive and prosper. When he moved to the U.S., he started college at Shaw University. He attended school there until about 1982, and between 82 and 83, he was at East Carolina University studying electronics technology. In 1984-85, he obtained an associate's degree in electronics and mechanics. And finally, in the school year of 86-87, he was given a BS in business management and accounting from Shaw University. When he got that degree, he was attracted to go back to the Middle East to work. He moved back to Kuwait, and he worked in the shipping and trading industry and was doing well. But his time in the United States of America was a strong draw. He was in Kuwait in 1990 when the Iraqis invaded Kuwait and lived through that. And while he was there doing that, he actually took it upon himself to help smuggle numerous American families and people out of the country. In 1988, in 2000, he moved back to the United States of America, where he opened up some business. His businesses were selling things to people, operating in stores. He has been in that business ever since. From 2005 until today, he focused his attention on operating stores in downtown Boston. The store that he's operated is the subject of this event, or the location where it happened. It's Taz's store. It's at 207 South Wilmington Street. And he's been there for 17 years. In 17 years, he's seen businesses come and go, and more go than come. His store serves a function to the people of that area. It would otherwise be a food desert. In fact, if you're down here, I know you can't go there, but if you could, there's very few places in downtown that you can buy anything. Buy soda, buy bread, buy whatever it is. He's operated that store for 17 years, and in 17 years, you'll hear that this incident of shoplifting or attempted larceny or more is just one of hundreds of times that he's had to interact with people. And he will tell you that in those normal interactions with people, it usually goes down like this. The law allows the merchant to confront and detain an individual to determine whether, if the owner, the merchant, or clerk, or whatever, has probable cause to believe that they're shoplifting. Shoplifting is unlawful concealment of goods while you're on the property of the merchant. In this particular case, it's gateway. And the way that most of those interactions go on with that, and probably most merchants, is that when somebody is suspected of doing that, they are interdicted either by the clerk, the store owner, store security, whatever you want to call it, loss management, whatever. And it usually goes down like, I need to stop right there. I need to look.
That was a blast from the past. Sorry.
You will find from the way Taz will tell you that for years and years and years, and doing that hundreds of times, the vast majority of the people are cooperative. They'll just give it up. And if it's a case where they just simply didn't have the money,
this is his attorney.
Just let them have it, and maybe come, "Well, steal from me again, get out of my steal." If they've got the money to pay for it, a lot of times it goes down to pay for it. Don't ever steal from me, again, get out of the steal. Most of the situations where he has to interact with people, he will tell you the cops never get involved in it at all. Because if the cops come, the cops will write somebody up, and maybe they deserve it, maybe they don't. Maybe they'll come down to court, and maybe something will happen with it, and maybe something won't. And if he gets into the court system, then he's got to, they come down to court, testify, take time out of business, and all the rest of that. And like I said, a lot of times that doesn't happen.
Thank you.
You will hear and see from the evidence that the place where this store is not like where most of you guys live. It's different. It's right adjacent to the bus station. They're transient people, they're homeless people that are there, they're people who use drugs and drink and they're fighting, and there's all kinds of stuff behind it. It's a little bit like the Wild West. But Taz does it, and he does it, and provides a service to people who otherwise wouldn't have anybody to provide that. In the store, there are a number of security cameras that are in there. They're there for the purpose of documenting what goes on and to help him deal with people who would steal from him. What they call shrinkage or inventory control. For him, it's like trying to keep somebody from stealing blind. You're going to see the videos. There are 5 of them in the store in different areas, and a lot of that goes on is important because there is pretty good video from different directions as to this actual event, the struggle, fight, call it what you want, that resulted in the injury to Mark Barrett and caused his death. And to make it easier for you to really see that and understand it, those videos have also been cropped to cut out things that are extraneous. They've been slowed down, some of them to quarter speed, and on some of them it can be shown to you and will be shown to you frame by frame, pieces of second. In terms of things that happened before that, you will also find out that Taz has a fair amount of interaction with law enforcement. They're coming in his store all the time because there's a pretty good police presence down in that area. In this particular case, even though there were efforts to call, and the woman who was doing the cell phone video, when Taz yelled out, "Call the police," yelled back, "They've already been called." In fact, some people are going to come in and testify about what kind of a man he is, and how he conducts his life, and how he does his business. And at least a couple of those are going to be police officers. You know them well. Been in and out of the store and dealt with him for years. Because Taz has a history of cooperating with law enforcement.
I just read that.
Has many times given them access to the security camera footage when they're looking for suspects or individuals. Now, I don't know a lot about Mark Gary other than the fact that he's
now
a
I
young man and he
can't
died
see the
in a bad
question
way.
why.
That didn't have to happen.
That is so
We do
funny.
know, and I believe the evidence is going to show that he did
Y'all,
have.
does my sound
an addiction
okay?
to,
Are we pretty
various
balanced?
controlled substances as well.
Because I got a hearing aid in
Some of his
one ear,
medical
a
records are
monitor here,
available,
over here.
and they will
Mine's
show
new.
that. The records will also show, one of the things that is going to be an issue that you're gonna have to sort out is, well, why did this go down the way it went down? Because in essence, what happened was, on the store video that was available to Taz, he saw Mark Garrett take some of his product. It was a drink. First one that's clearly on video is a Powerade. And he takes it and he looks at it. He has it in his hand. He has the bag in his hand. He unzips the top of his bag. And just before he's about to put it in the bag, looks up and notices the difference. He puts it down, goes back around behind where there is shelf with merchandise. He's then opening up and closing various doors where the sports drinks, including Gatorade, are. He messes around there where you can't see him. And then when he comes out of that room and comes back into the other room, on video that's available to Taz, he doesn't have any drink in his hand. But ready to drink it. Taz, at that point, being a merchant, is authorized by the law to detain him, to stop him, to ascertain whether or not he is in fact stealing. Because his detention cannot last longer than the time that it takes either for the police to get there or to ascertain that the person is not stealing. In this particular case, the only way to ascertain whether or not Mark Garrity was stealing from him was to access the bag and see what was in it. You're going to find out from the police, and in fact, Mr. Latour acknowledged that what they found in there was the blue Gatorade. Importantly, that blue Gatorade was cold. It didn't come in from someplace else. It came out of the cooler, and it went into Mark Garrity's bag. And he had zero intention of paying with it. And Taz was authorized under the law to seek to find out if that was true. And he went up to Mark Garrity, and you'll see this on the video, and grabbed the bag and said, I need to look in your bag. What's in your bag? Most of the people that Taz has dealt with in those similar circumstances comply. They say, I'm sorry, man, or yeah, go ahead and look. Maybe you're wrong about it. I got no problem looking at it. But Mark Garrity absolutely and positively refuses to allow Taz to do that. You're also going to hear from Taz about the fact that he had a knife with him and that he actually had that. While the testimony is going to be while at the counter watching the store video and seeing the things that gave him good reason to believe that Mr. Garrity was stealing stuff from him. There were 4 women that were in front of the counter, and they were aware of what was going on because Taz was also brought Mr. Nathan Cowles, I guess, we'll find out when he comes in, who was a store clerk who was doing something else, and brought him up so that he could take over the register. While he's ringing up stuff, he points to the monitor so that Mr. Cowles can look and see what the person is doing. While they were discussing this, there were, again, 4 women that are there. And when Taz says,
Is this too fast for you guys, or are we good?
Around, one of the women says to him, be careful, Taz, he may be carrying. Which Taz understood to be that he might have a weapon. When Taz went up and grabbed the bag to try to determine whether he was stealing it from him or not, he asked Mark Garrity if he was carrying, if he had a gun or a pistol in the bag. And Mark Garrity replied to him, I got this in there, open my bag and shove it up your ass. Which all 2 things happened. Taz will tell you that he immediately got even more concerned than he was, and he knew from that moment the one thing that he absolutely positively had to do was not let go of the bag. And they fought over that bag. They fought over that bag. They came together. And for about a minute and a half, they were struggling over that bag. And then, as Mr. Latour told you, Mark Garrity had had enough. He was going to break out. He was going to go. And he forcefully pushed Taz, had him turned around backwards, pushing on the back of his shirt and his neck. Taz turned around, and as that happened, they came together up against part of the counter. And the video, we would say, depicts where he got injured the first time as a result of them coming together. Taz was at that time, and earlier, you will see that he had his knife, and he was not attempting to harm Mark Garrity with it. The only thing that he was doing was trying to cut the scraps of the bag so that he could literally cut the bag away from him. As a matter of fact, in the course of it, there's evidence that shows that Taz got cuts on his hand because of what he was doing. But when Taz finally was able to cut that bag away and pull it loose, instead of just running out the store, Mark Garrity came, charged him as Taz was bending over and hit him forcefully in the head. And at that time, Taz, you'll see, just tried to get him off. And in the course of that, there's like 3 seconds. This entire thing happened between 3:40:03 in the afternoon and 3:40:06. You will see really the moment where Mark Garrity, the knife struck him in the chest, and it tragically went between 2 ribs and hit him in the heart. At that point, he does back up, holds his chest, and turns to go. And Taz just comes and looks at him to make sure what he's doing. And then at that point, instead of running out the store, Mark stops and comes running up and does a karate kick and tries to kick Taz in the face. Falls flat on his back. Then realizes, I guess, that it's over and he needs to go, and he runs out to the street. Now, the big question is going to be, why did this go down so different from all the other regular piddly shoplifting cases where somebody may just get a slap on the wrist with it? What was going on in Mark Garrity's head at that time that caused him to fight so hard for so long? 2 things you're going to find out, and this is kind of before one of them is before and after, and the other is after. You're going to receive evidence that 1 week to the day before this happened, Mark Garrity was in this very courthouse, and he pled guilty to felony breaking and entering and larceny, and was given a suspended sentence. And he had a sentence of 5 to 15 months hanging over his head. He was put on probation. And probation has terms. And among those terms, and the most important of those terms is, do not commit any other criminal offense in this or any other jurisdiction. Shoplifting is a crime. Stealing is a crime. So for Mark Garrity, it was not going to be a slap on the wrist. It was not going to be something that would come down to this courthouse and then just get overlooked. For him, it meant prison, because it was a clear violation of his probation. You will also hear from the testimony of the pathologist that at the time that he died, they routinely, in the medical examiner's office, they draw blood and they check for alcohol and drugs. And in this particular situation, when they did that checking, they found he had cocaine and fentanyl in his system. So when you're trying to figure out why this thing went down, you will have evidence that this was going to be of major effect to him. And he also had the mental effects, whatever you determine them to be, of having cocaine and fentanyl in his system. The store videos will begin, and there is a total of about, let's see, 15:35, and out the door at, so there's basically a minute and a half, this whole thing happens. We do know, and you will find out, that the cops were called, but unfortunately, sometimes when seconds count, cops can't get there for a few minutes. In the after, you will see, tragically, Mark Garrity lying in the street and for practical purposes dying. He received heroic treatment at Wake Med. The EMS people were able to get some pulse. He was delivered there. They opened up his chest. They did manual cardiac massage. They did everything that modern medicine will allow them to do, but it was not. By virtue of exactly where that injury was, it was not possible to save. Mr. Latour indicates that Taz stayed in the store, and he did. There were still customers in the store. There were still people coming in and out, and there was blood on the floor. And he didn't want people stepping in blood. I mean, people were really concerned about that kind of thing. He cleaned up and tried to make it more safe for people. When the officers came in, he was very forthcoming to them. He said, "Listen, man, it's on video. You can go ahead and eat that. No problem." Gave them the video, gave them his knife, showed them where he had apparently injured himself. He talked to several police officers there, told them what happened, did everything that he could do to be cooperative. One of the officers was there, had the opportunity to pick the bag up that Mark had, opened it up, and yes, indeed, there was a bottle of Gatorade, and yes, indeed, it was cold. Taz is asked to go downtown and give a statement, told he's not charged with anything. He goes down and voluntarily does, and sits and gives him a statement, waives his rights to remain silent. And Detective Evelyn had him down there, I guess, from that after, shortly after this happened until late in the evening. They took his clothes, or at least his shirt, and took photographs of him. And at the end of that interview, Detective Evelyn said, "You're free." And Taz was free, didn't go anywhere, didn't run away, didn't try to hide it. No charges were filed against Taz until April the 19th, almost 2 weeks later. Now, he is charged with second-degree murder. And again, I mentioned to you that by virtue of his being a merchant, he is authorized under the law. It's not just like some kind of general principle or something. But the law says a merchant, a merchant's agent, or employee who detains or causes the arrest of any person.
Objection. Sustained.
What law you will be required to use in this case is going to be given to you directly from Judge Grady. I'm certainly not trying to tell you something that I don't believe to be true, but he's going to be the one to determine whether or not that law is applicable in this particular case. We would submit that the evidence is going to show that Taz did not act with malice. He didn't want anybody to be hurt. He was trying to do all he could. You will see video that shows him holding the knife way back to try to keep it out of the way while they're struggling. And it wasn't until it became apparent that he needed to cut the straps loose that the knife even came close to Mr. Garrity. And you will also see in the video that what is happening is that Mr. Garrity is trying to pull that bag away and is pulling Taz with him. Taz will testify that he never wanted to hurt anyone. He certainly never intended to kill anyone. To begin with, all he wanted to do was to get the bag, especially when he thought that there might be a gun in it. And Mark Garrity wouldn't give it up. The evidence is going to be that Mr. Cowles came down and he joined into it, and they were in there, and it's not that he was trying to break it up or whatever. He was also telling Mark Garrity, give us the bag. Drop the bag. But Mark would simply would not. And there's also a fundamental difference between just shoplifting something and trying to take somebody else's property. We would submit that when Taz did what he did what he had to do. When Mark Garrity at the end was charging him, and when Mark Garrity was fatally wounded, he was attacking Taz. Taz was in a defensive position, head down, being struck in the head. You will also find out that from the evidence that Mark Garrity's less than half this man's age. You will also hear that before he went to work, Taz was having cancer treatment, was receiving intra bladder treatment for bladder cancer, where you have to go to the doctor's office and be catheterized and infused with chemicals to kill cancer. And that has effects. Bear in mind, when you are receiving all of this evidence, that is the state of.
Did I lose y'all, or is everybody just paying attention? Got real quiet in the chat.
They had the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Taz did something unlawful or illegal. They will also have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that when he did what he did, he was not acting in self-defense. Again, Taz has no obligation to prove his innocence. As you were informed in jury selection, some of this evidence may be heartbreaking and difficult to see. I suspect everybody would give anything they had not to be here, not to have to go through.
Lurking and working. Okay, got it. No, that's all good. Glad you're here. Thank you for lurking and working.
You understand that it is your civic duty to do this.
I appreciate the lurking and working.
We believe the evidence will show that Taz was where he was supposed to be, doing what he was supposed to be doing. He was not looking for trouble, but trouble came and found him, and Mark Garrity came in to steal. After you've carefully considered all of the evidence and listened to the law that's been instructed to you by those referees, we will ask that you then return a verdict not guilty.
All right, thank you, Mr. Newsom. Thank you, Sheriff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take our break now. We're going to come back and begin the presentation of evidence. Once again, please do not express an opinion, do not forward it, do not discuss the case. We'll come back at 11:45 to begin the presentation of evidence. Everyone else remain seated while the jury leaves the courtroom. You'll leave your pens and pads and your tapes. See you at 11:45. Everyone else remain seated. All right. Let the record reflect the jury has left anything from the state.
No, Your Honor.
From the defense.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Sheriff, we're going to call 11:45.
Square ball being recessed to 11:45 a.m.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay, they came back. Ah, no problem, no problem. How was your day at work, Jedi? That judge doesn't look too thrilled. Just saying. Just saying. I have a feeling that's the end of the day. So now I need to get the next days. Well, what happened? That's not what I wanted. Dagnabbit. That's what I wanted. Okay, for just a second. Okay, we're going to have to go find day 2. Which is hard. Let me go to court TV.
Mr. Zark, if you'll stand, and Madam Clerk, if you will.
Videos. That's what I'm wanting to find.
I raised my hand. I tried to back away. But it didn't work. God bless him. He could come.
Okay. I love court TV. But I do sometimes struggle finding. I want it in order. Full playlist. Okay. I'm trying to find day 2. Day 3. Oh. I want day 2. I don't want recap. I want the whole day. How many days does anybody? Oh, this is driving me crazy. I don't know what order these are. They don't have it listed in order. How many days did this thing go? I'm struggling here for a minute. I don't want the day 3. I want day 2. Control Z. Control V. Here it is. Oh, this is only 8 minutes of it. I don't want 8 minutes. I want the entire day 2. And it doesn't give me the numbers. As you guys are seeing, can somebody help? I want the full trial coverage. I don't want. Okay, search that way. I feel very lost at the moment. I'm trying to find the entire day 2, not little intermittent bits and pieces. Why are we not able to find the entire trial? Everything is minutes. I want days. Anybody know? It ended. It ended. So but see, if you guys can see how these are listed, they're not. Hour and 8 minutes on that one. Yeah, but I'm not getting the full trial on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. Hour. Oh. How are we supposed to know what to watch? You know, I love how they have these kind of archived in. Let me see. You know, that's frustrating. So frustrating. And that's all we get there. Videos. Dude. So what do I watch next on him then? That's the frustrating thing. Okay, let's see. 7 days ago. Let's at least watch him take the stand. How about that? Nope, I don't want the report. I want the video. Y'all, I'm getting irritated. I'm getting so irritated right now. And quit asking if, do you know I have live captioning up? And it keeps telling me, you do want us to caption this? I'm like, frick yeah, I got you up for a reason. Why don't we do this? Control copy. I'm going to open up a whole new window. Do it this way. Exit out of that one. Do this, do that, do this. Clean it up, get a new one. Why do they not? Okay. I thought that this would be full trials, and I'm so sorry for all of us who wanted to watch full trials. But we saw the opening. Three minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes. Yes, I'm still watching. Quit asking. I'm looking. Search music. I'm looking, y'all. Wow. I don't know what else to tell you, Rachel. I wanted to do this for you, hon. We're just going to have to do it this way.
Hurts the joint mainly in the bones.
Okay.
Did they do that at your doctor's office?
Yes, sir.
And would you have to stay at the doctor's office until that was completed?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any effects of the chemotherapy that you were being given at that time?
It does have an effect after.
Right. And how would it affect you?
It hurts the joint mainly in the bones.
Did you receive a treatment for your cancer on the morning of April the 6th of last year?
Yes, sir.
And as a result of that, when did you go into work that day?
Yes, sir.
And when did you go into work?
I can't remember exactly what time, but I think it was in the afternoon, after 1 o'clock.
Okay. What kind of work do you do?
I own a convenience store, retail business.
Okay. That the store that's located at 207 South Wilmington Street that we all visited a little earlier this afternoon?
Yes, sir. It has a supermarket.
How long have you been in the
convenience store or supermarket business?
Well, straight up for almost for the past going into my 25 years. And before, when I was a student, I was also in retail business.
All right, well, let me ask you some things about your background, if I could. You indicated that you were born in Gaza and Palestine in 1963. Did you have an occasion to leave Palestine?
Yes, sir. Because of the circumstances, my dad moved us to Kuwait. My dad was the head auditor for the Ministry of Education in Kuwait.
And how long did you live in Kuwait the first time?
Until, I think, 1980.
Not a good time to live in Kuwait.
In 1980, where did you move?
I came to Raleigh, North Carolina
It was the end of that live feed. It cut off.
for college.
When you came here,
The opening
where
statements,
did,
that's
where
all it
did you
was.
go to school?
My first semester was at Shaw University, downtown Raleigh.
And then can you tell me where else you went to school?
I went for almost a couple of years at East Carolina University in Greenville. And I went for a couple of years for associate at Wake Technical College. Then I went back to Shaw University and finished a double major in business management and accounting.
When was that?
I think in 1987, 1988.
After you finished college, what did you do?
I went back to Kuwait to be next to my family. And I worked in Kuwait for almost 12 years.
What kind of work did you do in Kuwait?
I worked in two fields, the field of shipping and logistics and in the trading business.
And for how long were you in Kuwait for that particular time that you were there?
Almost 12 years.
So were you in Kuwait when the Iraqis invaded Kuwait?
Yes, sir. Desert Storm, I was in Kuwait.
And how did that affect you? During that period of time, did you provide any assistance to Americans who were living in Kuwait at the time of that invasion? Counsel did not state a basis for the objection.
Relevance, sustain.
Mr. Zarka, did you stay in Kuwait through the duration of that conflict?
Yes, sir.
And did you continue to stay in Kuwait after that?
Yes, sir.
Were you doing the same things after the invasion of Kuwait that you did before?
Yes, sir. When the invasion of Kuwait happened, after it, I was in the logistics and the shipping business. And that's where my service is much needed.
Okay. What kind of logistics and shipping were you doing at the time?
Well, anything you move by air, ocean, or land, I could do it for you. And especially after through the contractor, which we were helping the.
Hey, you Haley Mouse.
Mr. Newton and Mr. Tor.
Hey, Gabby. struggling to get information, but we're good. Oh, my bangs are itching me a little bit. There it is. Sometimes you get a little stray hair in your face and you just can't quite find it. Why are we stopped and quiet? I didn't push anything. Oh, okay. You're still thinking.
Bring you back out momentarily. Everyone else remain seated. If you'll leave your pens and pads in your chairs.
Whoa. Ruh-roh. C-Force is here. Welcome to the club. Gabby, Haley Mouse. Y'all, welcome.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. Let the record reflect the jury has left the courtroom. Yes, sir, Mr. Newsom.
I'm seeking to elucidate from the defendant, who is the most crucial piece of evidence on his behalf for his defense. Inquiring into his background, his development.
Inquiring minds
his
want to know.
experience as a human being, as that may relate
Yes,
to the
I went there.
development of his character, his reputation, and ultimately his credibility with this jury in terms of whether they want to believe him or not. If I need to ask more so that we can have a proffer so the court can understand.
Y'all aren't answering the
what
question.
the questions were and what his answer would be to those, I would like to do that.
That'll respond to the reason why the court had a concern. There
Oh,
was an
there's a
objection,
question.
and I sustained it at one point. I believe you asked him about the war and what he did to help.
I wonder what
prepare,
Zach would like.
during
Hey,
the
Zach, what's
war.
your
There was an
favorite holiday
objection.
drink?
I sustained it. I did not think it was relevant. But do you need to be heard first before a potential proffer? So let me get on the record.
I'm excited when all of you are here. Are you kidding?
What we discussed.
I love you guys.
It appeared that he was attempting to elicit history
Ooh,
about
can't do
this
that,
defendant
but
and his
I've tasted it.
assistance in a war.
I'll be asleep in about 30 seconds.
90s.
Hard liquor knocks my
I don't know
butt
how that
out.
is relevant to what occurred on this
Ah,
occasion.
yeah.
Some
Haven't had
decades
any yet
later,
this year.
And I would argue that the probative value of that is outweighed by any attempt to just ingratiate him to the jury to seek sympathy for what he has experienced in the past, rather than his actual state of mind at the exact moment of what occurred, which is what is at issue in this at this moment.
What I would do, Mr. Newsom, I'm going to allow you to make a proffer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Zarka, can you tell me about the experience and what happened with the invasion of Kuwait?
Never had it that one. Never had it that one.
Our whole country was down in 48 hours.
I can't
It was
drink
a
any
big
of those,
chaos.
y'all.
All nationalities were trying to run out of the country, either through airport, and it was a very short time for people to escape, some by land. There was no way to go by sea through the Gulf. So either they go north, which is Iraq, and they're not going to go north because Iraqis were coming down. Kuwait is the south part of Iraq, or go to Saudi Arabia. From a personal level, I did my part, and from a professional level, I did also a great part to be there to the American civilians, or even to the American Army at the first American base in Kuwait called Camp Doha, through my shipping and logistic career.
What did you do personally to be of assistance?
On the personal level, the Iraqis, they, I don't know, it was order from the army or a personal movement. They were trying to capture any foreign identity, English, French, Americans. And in Kuwait, we had American University and we had American High School. And I managed gracefully to, in a small minibus, to make almost 40 trips to take American families with kids to the Saudi border and come back. And it was unfortunate the last trip because one of them had left his passport in one of the seats. And when I get from the Saharas, from the sand to the main road at the checkpoint, they checked the car, they found the passport. And it was actually physically for almost 4 to 5 days. It was hanging with.
I know, right? We love it, but it's horrible.
And is that injury to your arm something that affects you today?
Until now, yes.
In your the service with your logistical company, who was that service provider?
I was a manager at #1 freight forwarding company called the biggest group in the Gulf called Dianne Industries. And at that time, after the liberation, the American Army started the first base in Kuwait called Camp Doha, DOHA. And because of my American degree and me knowing all the formalities and the procedures in land, sea, and ocean, I was handling almost 75% of everything our army had imported to Kuwait from a match to airplane spare parts. And I will make sure that everything cleared, properly delivered, also through the customs from any of the entries of Kuwait to go to the warehouses for our army in Kuwait.
All right, thank you, sir. That is the testimony that I wanted to elicit from that period of time and is in Kuwait.
Yeah.
And I absolutely am trying to elicit this testimony and evidence for the purpose of establishing this man's credibility and for the purpose of establishing that he is a good man. And I believe that his background and experience such as this is completely relevant and should be admitted.
Him being a good man is not what is at issue in this case. His general character has been testified to by 5 witnesses about peacefulness. This testimony has nothing to do with his ability or his reputation for peacefulness in this community. The only thing that I would argue and would concede is likely relevant from this information is that he has an arm injury or had an arm injury. I think he could testify that if he suffers from any ailments, just as he did with the cancer, which I am very sad to hear. But that, I didn't object to that. I would not object to if he testified. I have an arm injury that bothers me to this day that I suffered during my time that I lived in Kuwait. But this whole history of his logistics and saving children, which may be admirable, is not relevant for anything that this jury has to decide in this case.
All right, thank you. The court is going to indicate that first, as far as the temporal, the time between the date of this offense, which is April the 6th of 2023, and the invasion of Kuwait, I think the DA said the 90.
Bye, Haley Mouse. Have fun with Mr. Grumpy.
That being the case, the time, first of all.
Enjoy Mr. Grumpy.
What happened then and the offense date, I don't see how him assisting, I believe he said some Americans, maybe 40 trips to the border, that being the Saudi Arabia border. I don't see how that's relevant to this matter. I do agree that he mentioned his injury. I will allow for him to testify about his arm injury, but not as to how it occurred and when it occurred, as far as dealing with the war and so forth. He can indicate, yes, I suffered an injury and I have an issue with my arm. It was dislocated. And if you say that it bothers him to this day, if that's what the testimony will be, that's fine. But to indicate to this jury that he's allowed to testify about what he did or may not have done in Kuwait, because this is respectfully what he is telling or wants to tell this jury. I have no indication other than what he's telling, that I would like to tell this jury. I have no indication of the veracity of that, but more important.
What are they doing near that mic? I guess they're getting some water.
That this case is about second-degree murder. This case is not about what he may or may not have done to assist Americans during the invasion of Kuwait and or Afghanistan. It's not about that. I don't see a relevant line that he can draw other than to ingratiate himself to the jury for sympathy, indicating that based on what he says, he's helped Americans in the past. That's admirable, but that is not admissible. Therefore, the objection is sustained. All right, and I'm assuming you're objecting to my ruling, so noted for the record. Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Newsom?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we can bring the jury back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. Okay. I'm working on the Festivus for the rest of us thing that I'm going to do Monday.
Sheriff, let the record reflect the jury is back in the courtroom. The objection respectfully is sustained. You may continue with your examination.
Mr. Zarko, without telling me how you sustained the injury, did you sustain an injury to one of your arms when you were in Iraq in Kuwait?
Yes, sir. My right arm.
And what kind of injury did you receive?
Dislocation.
Okay. And does that injury still cause you problems to this day?
Yes, sir.
Why did you decide to come back to the United States from Kuwait?
Just for better future for the kids. Getting away from the war zone.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 beautiful children.
How old are they?
I have a son, he's 28 years old. And a daughter, she's 24 years old. And a daughter, she's 8 years old.
8?
I take it the older children are grown up and they do not live with you?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
You share custody of your 8-year-old daughter?
Yes, I do.
Now, when you decided to come back to the United States in 2000, did you come back to the United States in the year 2000?
Yes, sir. I came to back to America in the year 2000. I had a good job offer to work for a shipping company up in Baltimore, Maryland. And also at the same year, 2000, there was a very big international kind of examination that the Canadian government they do. And they actually granted me a landing, which is also kind of residency in Canada in the year 2000 to join the Canadian Chamber of Commerce over there due to my experiences.
And why did you decide not to go to or stay in Canada?
Stockholm.
So when did you moved into Raleigh at sometime in 2000? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What kind of work did you do when you finally came to Raleigh and settled into Raleigh?
I had the choice to go back to the corporate world and or just to be on my own. And I studied the market, what is the best implementation for supply and demand, and something that I can deal with people. And I really found it in retail. I mean, everybody goes to the convenience store. Everybody always wants something. It's recession-free. And I mean, this danger, better than restaurants. And also, I like it. I like it dealing with all kind of people, races, you know. You get to know a lot of people.
Did you just open up a store, or how did that happen?
Yeah, after I made a decision that I want to be in retail, I got into the gas station business and convenience stores.
And did that start with one store?
I started with one to a point of time in downtown Raleigh. I had 4 of them.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But now, I guess I'm getting older. I can't handle the pressure anymore. Too many hours.
How long have you had your store at 207 South Wilmington Street?
I think this one, I took the license for it to open in 2007, 2008.
And so, $16, $17 years?
Yes, sir, this location, but I had other location before it on South Wilmington Street also.
Okay. How long had Mr. Philip Horwitz, who testified a little while ago, how long have you known him and how long has he been a landlord?
Over 20 years, 21, 22 years. Something.
Was he a landlord at one of the other locations before you opened to us?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell me about the store. I know the jury has seen it, but when is it open? When does it close? What do you sell, and what do you personally do there?
Yes. I'm open 7 days a week during the weekdays until 12 o'clock. On Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we stay open till 2 o'clock in the morning. But we open 6 a.m. every day. And I merchandise everything as much as I can, have the variety of all kind of drinks, soft drinks, juices, sundries, candies, house supplies, tobacco products. Got the best beer selection in town, the best wine selection in town. I try to be picky.
What kind of hours did you personally work at the store?
Oh, yes, sir. Until really started feeling really bad with that cancer. I'm there every single day. This is my schedule. 5 o'clock I'm up, shower, do my morning prayers. 5:30 I'm in downtown. I lock the door behind me.
Question
get coffee
posted.
ready. Turn my radio, my favorite radio station on. And 6 o'clock sharp, the sign is open. 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm out of the shop.
Okay, do you have other people who work for you?
Yes, I do.
Now, in doing the business that you do and dealing with general customers, excuse me, do you have problems with people shoplifting or stealing items from you?
Yep.
See, sir, I am a public business, and we get them all. I mean, I'll be behind the register at the same line There'll be an engineer, a DA, a homeless, a thief, a preacher. Downtown is a collective area. It has everybody. People come to visit downtown, people come to course downtown, people come. I'm very close to the main bus station of the capital of the state of North Carolina. So that's a foot traffic. And everybody, a lot of people ride the bus regardless of what their job description. And I serve all. I average almost 600 to 700 walk-ins a day, over 20,000 a month. So I get them all. I'm a high traffic store.
How often, when you're working at the store, do you have to deal with people who are stealing from you?
Daily?
I witnessed this town grow by the inch, one block at a time, one new business at a time. And you see, when I'm the first one to be walking in the streets of downtown Raleigh, when I converted, I'm sorry.
Can you approach Mr. Stewart, please?
Hey, everybody. Got a question up. How old were you when you learned that Santa was not real? I was today's old. Wow, that guard got awfully close to him.
The objection is sustained. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stop now. We're going to return on Monday at 9:30.
Okay. There goes that. Here, let's watch this. There we go. Yeah, right. Oh,
to the courtroom today.
sorry, my bad.
It's after the stabbing, much of which was caught on cell phone video and shown to the courtroom today. Friends and family in the audience could be seen looking away and crying, along with the woman who shot the video of the incident on her phone. The court also seeing the bag that Garrity had with him in the store that day, along with the Gatorade he took from the store's cooler.
And I'm saying just give him the bag, just give him the bag.
Earlier in the day, a now former employee who was involved in that altercation testified to seeing Garrity put the Gatorade in his bag and told him to give Zarka the drink back.
But it didn't seem like it should be violent at all.
Meanwhile, prosecutors are arguing that Zarka stayed in the store as Garrity stumbled onto Wilmington Street before immediately cleaning up the blood on the ground in his store and, quote, going back to business as usual, something Detective Wester corroborated.
What stood out to me was that there was a customer checking out currently, and the floor, as you walk into the store, there's an open, aisle there that goes back towards a drink cooler, and the floor in that aisle appeared to have been freshly mopped.
And the sixth witness on the day was a pathologist from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. She was able to testify as to the autopsy she performed on Garrity the day that he died. Now, throughout the day, family and friends ushered in and out of the courtroom, unable to sit there as testimony and evidence was presented. Live in downtown Raleigh, Dianne Hogard, ABC 11.
You know, for me, guys, I'm starting to see that this guy took this way out of control. That's why he was convicted. But not rendering aid. Let's see if we can get the. We've listened to him. I want to see if they.
Let's get into that courtroom.
That's not what I want.
Your Honor, the body is dead. I'm hungry. And this is the day Honor comes back.
I'm trying to see where they actually sentenced him.
Watching the sentencing hearing in North Carolina for murder defendant, convicted murderer now, Taz Zarka. He is that convenience store owner that was charged with second-degree murder, but found guilty of manslaughter by a jury yesterday, accused of killing and found guilty of killing 27-year-old Mark Garrity. And now it is time for the judge to impose the sentence. Let's watch.
How would you be there?
I wanted to make sure we were clear because
respectful, I know that Mr. Newton had stopped at that portion, but it also said, but the decision to depart from the presumptive range is in the discretion of the court. And I respect our law and laws, and I respect our legislators.
Oh,
They're
come
not
on.
sitting here. They're not sitting here. We have 3 branches of government. And the judicial is one of those branches. I respect the legislators, and they give me the opportunity to look at the law and follow the law. But they also tell me that I have discretion. In any republic, at least in these United States, when the judge, he or she, has discretion, that means judicial discretion. And with judicial discretion, for any judge, he or she has to look at the totality of the circumstances. I keep asking myself in this case, with all of the things that the supporters of Mr. Zarka said, and even Mr. Zarka's own words, with all of the things they've said about him giving the shirt off his back, giving people drinks and food, if that's who he is, why wasn't he that person on April the 6th of 2023? Why not just give Mark the drink? If that's who he is, why not just give him the drink? And it doesn't escape the court. If you look at that video, when Mr. Zarka comes around the counter and pulls his knife out and heads towards Mark. Where was Mark? Mark was headed towards the counter. What did he have in his hands? A bag and ice cream. Well, if Mark was this true person that was going to just rob and steal, he had the ice cream in his hand. In plain view.
Yeah.
It tells me, using reason and common sense, he was probably walking to the counter to pay for the ice cream.
Yeah.
Because it was in his hands. Was he going to conceal that right there at the counter? He had the ice cream in his hands.
It was
Mr. Zarka even testified he never actually saw Mark conceal the Gatorade. Let's say Mark did conceal it. That's fine. But if this man is somebody who says he will take the shirt off his back and give it to somebody,
give him the drink and the ice
give them
cream.
drinks and food, why not do it that day on April the 6th? As I said, Mark was walking up with a bag and ice cream in his hand. It would have been a different story if Mark had walked in with a gun and said, with a mask on, give me all your Gatorade. He didn't do that. He didn't walk in there with a gun.
Oh, wow, y'all.
And say,
I
give me all
like
your
this
Gatorade.
judge.
He didn't try to hide his face.
That is
What I
so
saw,
true.
I think he was walking up to pay for the ice cream.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't shock me if the ice cream was cheaper than the Gatorade.
Yeah.
And he may have had enough money to pay for the ice cream and not for the Gatorade. But
Or
did
he may have
deserve
had
to
that
die for
already
that?
in his bag
Oh.
from an earlier in the
Oh.
day.
No. You know, I'm a
Okay.
judge.
The judge, this whole trial, this judge has been great. Keith Gregory, Judge Gregory.
I always have
he is
drink,
not just going to lay out a sentence. He
new
is
bottle
going
of water
to
in
tell
my
a
bag.
story and then deliver the sentence. Jack writes before we hit a break. This guy, the way he interacted with the family members, especially the victim, he's got a heart. I mean, he's not an old jaded judge that just. It's refreshing to see.
Yeah, when we think about what makes a good judge, what makes a good judge is somebody who can make hard decisions. What makes a good judge is somebody who can understand
What?
the analysis
Okay,
of
I'm
it.
lost.
But this is also about humanity. This is also about life. This is also about struggle. This is about the ability to look at these people and say, I stand before all of you and I will treat all of you as fairly as I possibly can. I love it when I see a judge like this apply the law like this and never forget at the same time that they're just lucky
Can
to
you
be on the
clarify
bench
case one? I'm
themselves,
lost.
and they're going to apply it with as much common sense as they possibly can. I love that.
Yeah, and the storytelling and all that is
Me
because we
too.
do see a lot of judges who do not want to explain anything, don't feel they have to. You know, you talk about that judge up in Indiana with the Richard Allen case. Doesn't care if people watch the trial. Does it? Just it's her world, and there's a ton of judges who have that sort of.
Okay, I want to get back into
She
this
did
part.
not kill him. Mr. Zarka did. In addiction,
Preach it.
doesn't care about your race, your gender, your
Mhm.
religion,
Mm-hmm.
your sexual orientation,
That's right.
because it's a disease.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's a disease.
Mm-hmm.
And I commend Mark for recognizing that and wanting to deal with it. I commend him for that. And I want to remind you, Shauna, where are you? You have a responsibility to continue to remain sober. Do it for you. You have that responsibility. You're not a bad person. You're not a villain. You have a disease. That's what it is. Mark had a disease. That's what it was. It hits
Y'all,
everybody.
no one deserves
make
to
a
die
difference.
over a Gatorade and a thing of ice
The
cream.
type of job you have either. It's a disease.
There's no need for someone to lose their life, even if they're stealing. There's no need for someone to lose their life over the fact that they possibly had a bottle of Gatorade in their bag, and then they had a thing of ice cream next to in their hand. I mean, why would you stab a man to death over a thing of ice cream? I don't get it. I don't
think
understand
Mr.
it. It's
Latour
confusing
said-
to me.
He said, Judge, the state did its job, the defense did its job, and the jury did its job.
I
he
bet 3 to 4
politely
years
said-
imprisonment.
Or
What do you
inferred that
think?
now it's time for the
Everything just
court to do its job. And Mr. Latour and Mr. Newsom, I say ad nauseum, without fault, that I've been a prosecutor, I've been a defense attorney. The DA has an objective, the defense has an objective, but the court has a responsibility. And I took an oath. I took an oath to follow the law and to be fair and impartial. And I live by that. And there may be some in the audience, respectfully, or out there that want to blame people. This court takes I don't have a dog in this fight. But what I do have, and what the citizens of North Carolina have entrusted me to do, is to be fair and impartial, follow the law, but not forget my common sense. My common sense tells me, respectfully, that Mr. Zarka had a choice.
He did have a choice, y'all, and there was no reason
In
to.
that video, he gave a little boy chocolate.
Yeah.
He gave a little boy chocolate. That was somebody's son. He could have given the Garrity's son the Gatorade. He could have done that.
This is true, Jedi.
He could
Thank
have
you for
done that.
clarifying. I was a little lost on
He
that.
didn't have to pull out a knife. He didn't have to go towards your son and then stab him in the heart.
Always go to the facts. Yeah, the Florida DOC inmate search
In the
will
heart.
definitely show where she is.
And if he was so scared and afraid for his life,
Over
he could have stayed behind that
ice
counter
cream.
and called these people that we call law enforcement officers.
That's true. You can't be afraid
your
for your
son
life
came to the
if you
counter,
bolt around the counter and
He could
charge
have
somebody.
said, I know you've got Gatorade and I know you've stolen it. I'm not going to let you come back to my store anymore. You're trespassed from my store. He could have said that. Reason and common sense.
True.
Reason and common sense. $3.25, $3.90, whatever it costs for a bottle of Gatorade, that's worth losing somebody's life over?
Nope.
Really? Are you telling me that's worth it? And I'm going to say this, for those of you that may be animated in the audience, for those of you that said, Mr. Zarka is this and that, if this had happened to your child, you'd be sitting right behind Mr. Latour, sitting right behind him. Because if you're a parent, you love your child. So no, Mark Garrity is not, in my eyes, a thief, a crook, someone addicted to drugs. He's a human being. He was a human being deserving of just that modicum of respect as a human being.
Yep.
So, yes, I will find Mr. Dianne and Mr. Newton. I think the court can recognize the mitigating factors that have been indicated or enumerated by Mr. Knudsen on the record.
Mm-hmm.
But the court will also find these mitigating factors in my discretion do not outweigh
He's going to throw the book at him.
Given that factual pattern that occurred and what this court saw, no, this is not a mitigated sentence. And my job is not to punish, because I'm not up here to punish out of any selfish means and so forth. My job is to be fair and impartial, and also not to forget to use my reason and common sense. My reason and common sense tells me respectfully that this sentence is deserving of a prior record level 1, Class B felony. I will sentence Mr. Zarka to 64 months minimum to 89 months maximum. That is the maximum I'm allowed to do under the law, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to give him all the credit he's entitled to by law.
So
This is an
4.5 years to 7.5 years.
I'll make a finding of fact that he's serving a lengthy sentence. And when I say lengthy, it will never compare to the sentence that Amy and Mark Garrity Sr. will have for the rest of their lives. I had the opportunity, as I always do every morning, to text my son and tell him I love him. And he always has the opportunity to respond.
Okay. I want to address something. Case 1, and yeah, that's a maximum he could have gotten underneath that sentence. So 5 to 7 years, 5 to 7.5 years plus time served. So at his age, he might get out as long as he's, I don't know how old he is, but I think they may have already, if they're smart, they can do a civil case against him for damages. I'm sure they already have. If there's any, I would assume an attorney would have advised him on that. The thing about, I know, case 1, I'm not arguing with you at any means, but when they transferred my ex from his jail to prison, it was instant knowledge online. I got to be careful. His mom is here now. But anyway, we'll see in the next day or two if she has been transferred to Lowell, however you pronounce it. Okay, guys, I have my ex-mother-in-law here, and we need to do our little Christmas thingy. And we're going to have dinner. She wants to do gifts. And so we're going to do that. I will let you go for today, but tomorrow we'll hop back on. I'm hoping to have more fun, have stuff that's a little more entertaining tomorrow. Monday, we are doing the Festivus. Bring your complaints. I got a little poll thingy. We're going to have some fun, and it's going to be, as long as it's pineapples and no politics, complaints abound on Monday. I might even try to find some ugly sweater. I don't own one, but we'll see. Maybe I'll find one. Until till tomorrow, everybody take care. Love and blessings. This has been a good day. And I thank you for it. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.